Hey everybody, back at you with another exciting video. And this video is actually just like way out of the ordinary because everybody knows me. They know that if they've seen my videos, I'm always looking for really weird different stuff, different ideas for videos, but all basically same thing: bushcraft, camping, survival, a little bit of survival, mostly bushcraft and camping. But anyway, to the point, not long ago I did a shelter on naturally cooling a shelter. Okay, it was kind of my lightweight, long-term sustainable way of staying cool in a shelter. And it's a funny thing, every time I do a shelter I get tons and tons and tons of good comments. And the comments, there were so many comments on that last video that it really got my wheels to turning and got me to thinking. So what I have come up with is, and I've never done this before, but I'm gonna give it a try and I'm gonna see how well it works. But what it is it's the comments, suggestions have developed a shelter, all the ideas, and it's basically the YouTube viewers summer shelter. Now, it'll take a little more development later on, and I'll get into that as I'm unpacking everything. But basically, what I'm going to do is I'm taking the ideas that was in the comment section on that video and going to test those ideas on the shelter. Now, it's hot and humid today, so, but hopefully I can get this thing done today. And we'll get it set up, and I've managed to find my way back to the creek that I used to be at. So let's see what's in the old backpack back here. I think I found the spot where I was last time. I should have paid better attention to it. I really wished I would have. Anyway, I basically have, my pack is 35 pounds, and then I have about another 5 pounds of stuff in another pack. And I'm going to pull everything off. I think I found a decent spot for this shelter. This shelter is a little bit different from the other one, and some of the elements are different. But I'm going to be using the same creek in basically the same spot. Okay. Now, let me get this off. This pack has nothing to do with the shelter. Right now, everything that I need is inside my pack. I've managed to get everything in it without having to strap anything onto it or have any extras. But as I go through that, I'll explain this other pack. And then there's other things I get to explain. So basically, let's set the pack on the ground, go through everything, and I'm going to show you the pile of stuff that I have for this shelter that I'm going to build. Okay? And I just hope it don't rain. And actually, I hope it gets warmer. The humidity is terrible right now, and I hope that the water in that creek is very cool, because that is what we need. Let's get some of this stuff off right here, and then we're going to start talking about it. I got tons of stuff with me. Now, I haven't set this up and tested it yet. I've got an idea of what I want to do, and the only thing that I have tested is the actual electrical part of it. And the electrical part of it is not a permanent thing. Okay? I'll do some more explaining about that too. Let's see. Alright. Got you on camera? Yeah. Man, it's already, the humidity's killing me here. And it's killing me not having Nick here, because I got to film everything myself. And after all summer having him film, it's rough getting back used to it. All right. This is one of the main parts of the shelter. Okay, have it right here. There's another part of the shelter. And in this bag, I may or may not need everything in it. I have here 2 grabber tarps rolled up. In here, I have 2 El Cheapo camo tarps, 7 by 9. Okay. This could be a permanent shelter, could be semi-permanent. Let's take a look through here and see what we have. Now, some of the viewers' comments in the past on that cooled shelter, people were suggesting everything from larger diameter ductwork to insulated ductwork to mylar covered ductwork to preserve the cool air coming off the creek. They also suggested some sort of net or a screen over the end, and several people suggested a fan. So, what we have here is some mylar insulated ductwork with a screen sewn onto the end where the mylar is. Okay, so let's start pulling this out. Alright. I can't remember how many feet this is, but it collapses down into nothing. Alright. And out on the end is a computer fan. Okay. Now, this is an AC fan. Alright. And I have brought an AC converter. Okay, so there's that part of it. That goes in the stuff sack. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and pull everything out and show it to you. That way, as I'm building the shelter, there won't be any interruptions on it. And in here, I have some cables, some homemade mini little jumper cables, and I have an AC converter. Okay. And then in the bottom down here, I have a battery. Okay. Now the word about this battery is right here is this battery right here will run this fan for like 5 to 6 hours. Okay. So in reality, once the shelter's set up, you could run this battery back and forth with you as you hike in and out. Now this other battery, I told you this was going to come in later on. This battery will run that bad boy from anywhere from 10 to 12 hours. Okay, now I'm not going to get into milliamp hours and all that kind of stuff, because we want to see what kind of temperature difference we're having here. And then of course I got the 2 9x7 tarps, the 2 grabber blankets, which have the reflective side on them. And I just hope they don't screw the camera up, because a lot of times that reflective, when the sun hits it, it'll mess it up. And in these 2 bags, I may or may not need all of this. But in these bags, in one end, I have rope and paracord, a good selection of it. And then in this side, I have my stakes, and I have a pouch full of little clips. And I think there's a very small bug net in there. Alright, so there is everything. There is everything. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to whip out the old machete, and I'm going to kind of clear a spot out right here for the shelter, because there's some stuff on the ground right here. And as soon as we do that, then I'm going to start setting up the shelter, and let's hope it works. Now the water in the creek is flowing, which is a good thing. I just hope it's good and
Before
cold.
I even start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump down in there. And whenever you're doing this, be leery of snakes. Could be snakes in areas like this. But I'm going to jump down there and I'm going to stick my finger in the water. And I see there's a deeper pool of water upstream, but right over there where you can see it flowing. And if you'll look right there, you can see it really flowing right down through there. But this deep pool up at the other end is what I'm interested in, but it's so deep I can't get at it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump down here and make sure the water's cool.
Oh yeah. It's nice and cool to the touch. That's what you want. See, the sun's starting to come out, which is a good thing because I want the sun to come out and warm everything up. Now that water is nice and cold, and I know for a fact. The reason I keep coming back to this creek is because I know a lot of creeks and streams around here, but this creek I know for a fact comes off the mountain, and there's springs up there which keeps this water cold, and all these rocks in the bottom of the creek keeps it cold. Okay, so fantastic. The water's got to be cold for this to work. Now I'm going to clear out a spot here behind me. All right. Now I have a nice, I have a nice decent spot here cleared off. So, get some of this stuff out of the way here. Don't you love it when your compass gets tangled up in your do-rag? The joys of having a do-rag, but you got to have a do-rag to keep all the ticks and bugs out of your head. Now, what I'm going to do first is, for placement of the shelter, the ductwork that I have, the flexible ductwork with the fan and the screen, I'm going to throw it over into the creek because I want to get it to be about 1 inch to 2 inches off the water. And I'm going to stretch it out over on the land. I got you from another view. I got it stretched up on land and the fan is on this end. You come down and it is about 2, maybe 3 inches off the water. That way the air it'll be cooling, it'll be pulling in, will be nice cool air. All right, I have my ductwork set, and so it's going to dictate where the shelter goes. So what I'm going to do now is stab a stake in the ground and run a line from a stake up to a tree, okay? Now just run this line up to the tree there and tie it around. About right there. Okay, so I have a string going from right in front of the ductwork up to a tree. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a tarp and I'm going to stretch a tarp from the base of that. Let's see. I'm going to put this somewhere where it won't get lost. I lose so many straps. Alright, I have 2 tarps here. Let's see. Which is which?
I've added extra grommets to this one. That way I can stake it down on either side of the fan and seal it off. What we're going to do now, let's see, I'm going to pull this cord out. That cord right there. Grab us a couple of stakes. Let's slide this down. And secure it to seal it off. Alright, now we got the tarp sealed off right here. Now stretch the other end out up against the tree. Alright, I got that end pulled up tight, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flare the sides out and stake them down. And in the back of the shelter, I'm going to fold them under so it'll be part of a floor. I think anybody that's ever done any kind of YouTube filming knows how important a machete is to removing everything. Because it's like every time I move, not just for clearing a campsite, but every time I move that camera, I'm having to clear out thorns and bushes and trees and all kinds of things. Good old machete. Alright. Now, and I have a hornet following me. I tried to catch it on camera. It's like a hornet. It's just coming around and they'll sit there just hovering, staring at me. And I can't stand hornets. You can see I have the shelter set up, okay? I have the line going from the tree down to the ductwork in the tree and the creek. And then I have the ends staked down. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go inside and give you a real quick glimpse of how you fold under the tarp. And then the next tarp you fold in and you slide in, and it'll be the floor and the door, okay? And you'll be leaving a little gap up at the top, because since hot air rises, if there's any hot air, the colder air will settle at the bottom and the hotter air will get pushed up and out. Because if you completely seal the shelter up, the fan will blow and won't have no place for the air to vent out. You got to have some kind of a vent for it to come out of, okay? So that'll be the next step. On the inside of the shelter, I'm going to put a little bit of light in there. I'm trying out this new light that I bought for like $6 at Big Lots. I don't know if y'all have a Big Lots or not. I'm going to hang it on the tripod and let's see how it does. And it does pretty good. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold over the bottom pieces under so it'll be part of the floor, and I'll have a clear path for the fan in there. And I may have to take a stick or something and stab a stick in the ground to boost the shelter up a little bit to keep it off the fan. I don't know. We'll see after I crawl in there. All right, I think that'll do okay. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take the other tarp and I'm gonna shove it in here to finish the floor off. I'm just gonna fold it into a double triangle, like a diamond shape, so that one part of it will slide in as the floor and then the other part will slide in, or slide up as the doorway. Let's take a look. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is at the very back of the shelter, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the inverter. Okay. What I'm going to do with it is I'm just going to, on this one end, I'm just going to plug in the fan, and then on this other end right here, I'm going to hook up these alligator clips, just like that. And I'm going to have the battery outside the shelter. I don't want the battery inside the shelter. Now I don't mind the inverter being inside the shelter for in case it rains, because if it rains on the battery, it's not going to hurt anything. So see, what I'll do with this now is I'll just take the other ends of the cables. And also, I don't want these hooked up to a battery, and then I don't want to throw them into the shelter. But I'm going to take these right here and I'm going to throw them under there. And there won't be no harm with them touching until I finally get it hooked up. So I'm going to crawl in there and put this in. Alright, now I got the wires fed through, so all I got to do now is put the battery outside, and then come in here, I can just mash a switch. Now it already feels extremely hot in here, okay? So hopefully that fan is going to pull that cool air in here. So let's hook up the battery, and then I'm going to hook the door up, and then we'll do the final part of it. Alright, I am at the back side of the shelter, and what I've done is I fed the two alligator clips through. So all I'm going to do now see. I'm going to put one this direction. So now all I got to do is cut it on the inside and see if the fan works. And then we'll put the door on and the outer cover. I'm inside now. Let's turn on the handy dandy light. Alright. Let's see how this sucker works. Alright. That is spectacular. I love it. I can feel the air from all the way back here. Alright, now we know that we got everything hooked up good. We got that bad boy drawing in the cool air from right off the creek water. So let's work on getting the door up. And once the door is up, I'm gonna put the other part of it on top where the viewer's suggestion was, okay? May or may not help, but it was a suggestion, so I'm adding it to the shelter. And that's gonna be the reflective tarp above this tarp. Now I'm gonna clip up the end of it so that it's gonna be like a door. I use these clips for the part of the door where I'm gonna go in and out. But then these are gonna be, I use these shark clips for where the side is gonna be permanent to where I won't be going in and out. But these are good sometimes for setting up for these other clips. All right. As you can see, what I've done is I have one side of the tarp closed off, and then I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap up at the top, and that's where air will be allowed to escape. Because if I completely enclose it, then that fan in the back there won't be able to blow much air in. And I want a continuous, since the water is flowing in a creek and continuously carrying cold water with it, I want continuously cold air coming into that shelter. So I go on the other side and we'll show you how the quick release door will be, and then we'll put the final cover on it, and then we'll be ready for our test. As usual, there's another little pesky twig I didn't see. All right, let's see. Now that is the end of my shelter. I have a little bit of a gap right here for the air to come through, and I have a piece of a screen that I can put in there. At night when I go to bed, I have a small piece of bug screen, and what I'll do is I'll just get some more of those clips, and as I go to bed at night, I'll clip it in that opening at the top. But for now, I'll just leave it off. The next part of this little jewel is all that cord that I've got wrapped around that tree up there. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to run an extra ridge line down about maybe 3 to 4 inches above it, and then I'm going to stake it off for the double reflective tarp to kind of keep the sun from heating. Now, the forest canopy here is keeping it pretty shady, but there's times that sun will come in, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it up there as part of the experiment. Okay, this will really excel if you're out in the sun, and it may or may not make a difference here, but it was suggested, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so I have the next element up of the shelter, and what it is you can see the original ridge line that's going down through there to the bottom. And if you look very carefully, you'll see that I have another ridge line tied up to the top. If you follow down, you may not can see it on camera, but it's staked all the way off at the edge of the creek. And what that's going to do is that's going to hold the reflective tarp a certain distance above, so that when the sun's rays hit the top of the shelter, it's going to block them off, and there's going to be an airspace between the two tarps. Okay, almost like insulation, double wall. Won't be insulated, but it'll be double wall. Reflective grabber blankets. Now this may make the camera go real dark, because in my experience, anytime I've ever dealt with any of this real shiny stuff, when there's a big bright glare, it always darkens the camera and screws it up real bad. So I hope it won't. Anybody that's ever messed with these grabber blankets before, when you buy them, they come with these little tiny eyelets. I always add webbing to them so that I can tie them off to things. See, right there. Now I go do the other side. Before I go to the other side, I'm going to show you how I've got this done. I've got it tied up to that higher ridge line, and there's a huge air gap all the way down in there. And then I've got it staked off on the side away from my tarp. Now I'm not really worried about the rainproof qualities of this reflective tarp, because the camo shelter itself is what's rainproof. All this is doing is blocking the heat out and creating an airspace between the two. Okay, they won't be quite as hot as the airspace on the outside. This was another viewer suggestion. Okay. So let's go to the other side and tie the other side. On the other side, I have the other tarp. 3 more stakes. And once again, the test won't be complete without a true mercury thermometer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang one up here outside in the shade, not in the sun, okay? And then we're going to put one inside. I don't know if you can see inside here or not. Yeah, now you can. Alright, let's see. Okay, yeah, you can see in here. I'll put it about halfway. Man, that feels great. Oh man. Oh man, with this thing pulled across and just that little bit up at the top, you can really feel the air coming in here. It's great. All right. I'm probably totally blocking the camera. All right, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna close this bad boy off right here. Oh, I can feel the air coming out down here. Look at that. Right there. See that leaf moving around? That's where the air's coming out. Now what I want it to do is blow the hot air out of the top. So let's ease you up at the top right here. Okay. See what it does up there. Oh yeah. Wow! That thing is blowing great. Going now, and I've got a temperature gauge inside and I've got a temperature gauge outside. Okay? Now, as far as the viewer comments go, anybody that saw that last video, I had a very thin, uninsulated piece of ductwork laying in the creek going into a tarp. Okay? Some of the suggestions that were made were a screen over the end of it, insulation around the ductwork, larger ductwork, a screen or a net over the other side to keep critters out, a fan, some sort of a bunch of people mentioned the reflective cover over the top. So I added that too. That works really good if the bright sun is hitting it. Now, the deal with this thing, I did some research on this thing for a smaller DC fan and solar panels. Okay. Now the man for the job was my brother, because my brother graduated from DeVry Institute of Technology. He has an associate's degree in applied electronic sciences, and or applied sciences for electronics, one or the other. Well, anyway, he got a degree, and he's dang near. He's as close to electrical engineer as you can be without being one. I mean, he knows a lot. So what he's doing is he figured up it's going to be like $140 to $150 to buy a DC fan and something about a bridge rectifier and solar panels. And I told him, I said I didn't want to put out no $150 for something that I wasn't sure of. So that's how we came about rigging up with this fan and this AC converter and the battery. Okay, so if this works, this may be my future summer shelter, but my brother is going to design the solar panels for me and get them going for me, and it'll be a good thing. And several people mentioned dryer duct. Well, the thing about dryer ducts, it's a smaller diameter, it doesn't flow as much air, and it's not insulated. This, whatever air gets brought up from the bottom of the creek, is going to be the temperature that goes into the shelter, which is a huge advantage. And that ductwork, actually, it collapses big. It collapsed down into that stuff sack. It collapsed down pretty good. You don't have to have it in your pack. You can strap it underneath the pack. Okay. So anyway, like I said, this is just a test, and if this works out, if there's a massive difference, I will invest the money into the solar panels. And this will be a good backpackable option. If not, what I'll do is I'll just find a good place by a creek and set it up every summer and just hike in and out a battery with me. You know, no big deal. So anyway, I'm going to take a walk and drink some out of my canteen, and I'm going to check the time, and I'm going to come back in an hour, and I'm going to see what the difference is. I done yacked for 3 minutes. Woo, what's that? Felt a warm spot. Don't know what this is. Must be all the sweat from this thing. This is one of those fancy, cool, dry polyester shirts. And I've been out here before in the heat and humidity in just a t-shirt and just felt like I was dying. Well, this time I put one of these on underneath it, and yeah, I'm still sweating, but I'm a lot more comfortable. They actually work. And I'm usually not a high-tech kind of guy. I don't buy that fancy high-tech clothing. We'll be back with you in an hour. All right, we're back at the tree. Let's see what this one says. And I have tried my best to keep it in the shade. It is 90 degrees. $90 degrees. All right, 90 degrees, and I have tried my very best to keep this. Man, it's hot out here. I couldn't imagine what it is in the sun. Of course, the sun's not really out. I was going to try my best to keep this out of the shade, but we have 90 degrees. That's what the temperature is today. It's been 95 and 97, so I guess 90 is good enough. I guess I don't know what the temperature is of the creek, but I know it feels cold. So, all right, what we're going to do now is let's ease over there. Got 90 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Let's see what we got inside our shelter. Okay. All right, now here's the kicker that I didn't tell you about, simply because I wanted to know for myself how much of the air I was drawing off the bottom of the creek and what I was putting into the shelter. So what I have done is I have brought a third thermometer and I have put that bad boy in the creek. So let's take a peek at it and see what the actual water temperature is. All right, let me get up here behind you where I can see. 79 or 80 degrees, I think. Gotta hurry and get you before it warms up. 79 or 80 maybe. That's what the water temperature is. Okay. Alright, now let's go take a peek inside the shelter and see what it is. Oh, I gotta cut this. Is this off? Wait a minute. Couldn't tell if it was on or off. Okay, yeah, it's off. Alright, now what we're gonna do, while I still got you live, I'm still talking to you. So there's no funny business. Put you down right here. Back up a little bit. Alright, this is the thermometer that was in the creek. I'll put it somewhere. I'll throw it on the ground right here. Alright, can you see me here? Alright, there's the opening of the shelter. Let's see now. Well, I don't need a light. I'm going to bring the thermometer out. Alright, this is a big moment. Is it worth it? Oh, it feels great in here. I'm going to bring you inside. Okay? No funny stuff. I'm going to bring you inside so that you can see it as I see it. Drum roll. Drum roll. Alright, you see it dancing around in there? Let's go get it. Wow! Oh man! man! Look at that! 80 degrees. Rock on. Well, I have got to say, I am hysterically happy. I am just so happy. I am smiling from ear to ear. I cannot believe that. The sun's not even been out. Now the sun is out, so, but I mean, I've already filmed the whole video, but the thing is I guarantee you, the outside temperature is going to get a lot hotter. And now what this has proven to me, okay, what it's proven to me is whatever temperature the water of that creek is, if you've got insulated ductwork with a fan, you can draw that exact temperature up into your shelter, okay? I got a full 10 degrees difference. Last time I only got 5 degree difference, and this time I got 10 degree difference. And I think it's worth pursuing. And I'm thinking that there may be some days that I could even get a higher temperature difference, but 10 degrees is fantastic. Because to me, that's like 15 degrees. Because normally when you set up a tarp shelter, anybody that's ever camped in the summer, if you set up a tarp shelter, that bad boy is 5 degrees hotter than the outside air temperature. It always is. So as far as I'm concerned, you're 15 degrees cooler. So I had a great time. I hope you had a great time. For everybody that commented on that last video, you know who you are. You know whose ideas are put into this shelter. This is your shelter. And but of course, as soon as I get the solar panels and the DC motor, it'll be my shelter. So I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. This has just been so much fun. I mean, I've been thinking about this for a while, gathering all these materials up. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you in the next one.